What's there to say about Resident Evil 5? I love Resident Evil 5. It's freaking amazing. The key, I think, to enjoying it is that you almost have to play it with another person, because I've always heard that CPU Shiva is like a dumbass. And she could die and she has to worry about ammo and herbs and all that other stuff. And that's kind of where they've kind of worked that stuff up. And so it's not as fun to play where you have to constantly, babysit a computer player. But with two-player, that's where you want to go. And that's where I've always played it. And it's like magnitude's better than like the co-op campaign that, like, say, Gears of War. It's just so freaking great. The fact that you could, you not only you got two characters to work with, but you're like building up your inventory, your weapons you're modifying, and you're like your actual just bullets and stuff. You can stash and hoard them and carry them back. So like, maybe the first player he's starting off the game, but you've been playing it for a while. You can take your souped up shit back over to help him out, or you could say, well, I only want to play with the stuff that he's got, so I'll downgrade my shit, or I'll just use the stuff I found off the ground. It's a lot of freedom in how you want to do that, and that's somewhere that I think Resident Evil 6 fucked up a lot on. It's like, and so you could just, if you want to hoard and stash and build up ammo and bullets, you could sit there. There's money and currency, so you could buy guns. I mean, you find them or whatever it is and then sell them. Or ammo, you can do the same thing. And there's some basic stuff that you can buy from the store as well. This inventory system that's over on top of the game really helps out. And then I think another thing that I think sticks out between this one's partner system and Resident Evil 6, there's a lot of team combos and working together and screaming out partner and all that other shit that really is the core of what Resident Evil 5 is, and it should be played with another person. I'm real fortunate I have at least 5 or 6 friends that are big Resident Evil fans, because Resident Evil is just such an important franchise to so many core gamers, air quotation marks. And we all had 360s, and so this became, along with I think Castlevania HD, like the de facto main 360 game that we would play. We didn't play much Call of Duty and stuff. We played shit tons of Resident Evil, and just playing with a person. What's the campaign, about 10 hours or something like that? It's a big campaign. It's just so fun to play the campaign with another person, and sometimes I'd have 2 or 3 playthroughs going on with different people, and it's like I play with one person on the chapter 3 one day, and then I'd go home that same day, and then we're on chapter 5 with another guy, and that was so awesome. Ben Affleck, Chris Redfield is the best. Chris Redfield, he's just a big, huge, buff superhero. He punches boulders. He shoots miniguns at big, giant monsters in the face. It's freaking great. You've got Wesker just camping it up to the maximum ability. And you finally finish off Wesker. And like Resident Evil 5 brings all the stories that are kind of disjointed between Resident Evil 1 and Code Veronica. And at 4 as well. Brings them all in, makes the best they could do is a cohesive story with that crazy ass shit that happened in Code Veronica. But it brings it together. Wesker's the super baddie behind everything, and you finally get to finish him off. Hell, in the DLC, you even get to finish off Oswald Spencer. Well, you don't finish him off. You go to his mansion or whatever it is, and so they kind of like redo the Spencer mansion that's been used in several of the games. They redo it yet again for 5 as a DLC. It was great. You and Jill, it's like Chris and Jill go through and take it out. It was just an amazing game. Fully on, this is an action game. You still need to worry about ammo and shit, but this is an action game. And so a lot of people were turned off because the tension was dropped down, especially when you play another person. But I still thought it was intense, and I firmly place Resident Evil 5 as my second favorite game after the original remake, because when the GameCube version of the remake came out, I mean, it was such a damn game changer. Graphically and everything else, but it was so fun to play this with your friend, and to this day I think this game is going to always be fun to play with your friend. If you've got a buddy to play and you guys like Resident Evil, you would just have all kinds of fun playing this shit. So, you know, Big Kitty loves Resident Evil. She thought the graphics at the time were really great. We're giving the paw away up there. Brian's a buddy's buddy who always likes to play with people and troll them and all that shit. He loves the Mercenaries mode. The freaking Mercenaries mode in Resident Evil 5 is amazing. And it's really tough. The characters aren't balanced at all, but it's really tough. And playing that shit with a friend is so freaking fun. Trying to get the high score, trying to beat the times against you. So a lot of people get freaked out about the time limit or whatever it is. No, the time is what drives that game. You want to quickly do everything. You want to get the time boost. You want to get the speed ups. I mean, what is it? The melee kills that help you get seconds back. That's all important. And unlike Resident Evil 6, where actually the best way to get time was actually walk up to a zombie, just stand there and then try to counter his attack. It was this weird passive aggressive shit. None of that shit's in Resident Evil 5. You might not want to just kill them with the best weapon you have, but you wanted to melee or like shoot them in the toe and they bend over there to get their toe and then you like, you know, suplex them or whatever. All of that adds up to make this like super fun game. Mercenaries could stand on as its own game, and they did do that with 3DS. They just fucked it up, and it would still be something I would recommend. So Brian's giving the Paul up there. He loves the multiplayer. I don't know. I mean, I guess the weaknesses of this game will be some stupid ass QTE. You get to hear the complete global saturation. You hear that shit like 5 billion times as you're trying to quick time event dodge freaking Wesker's bullshit. And then, you know, if you're playing with a friend, if he fucks up his part of the cutscene, then it's like game over for you too. The QTEs suck. And then, of course, the part where you're on basically in a Jeep on a turret and you're shooting people. And then you have to fight that boss where it's like a combination of quick time events and just shooting him. I think there's like even a cooldown on your minigun or some shit you have to worry about too. That level sucks. It shouldn't be in Resident Evil. But it's here. You have to deal with it. Especially playing on the harder modes. The QTEs become particularly bullshit. You're more likely to die from the QTEs than the actual game. That's when people need to go back and say, wait a minute, that's fucked up. And I'm glad that that's kind of being phased out. So there's some dated mechanics there, but it's really awesome. The DLC is awesome. They added extra alternate mercenaries where you can be like Barry and Rebecca. It's kind of sucks that you can't mix and match the original mercenaries and then the DLC mercenaries. The versus 4-player, it's mainly best, you know, 2-on-2 where you're fighting the monsters, and there's not many monsters to go around. The key is trying to grief the other person from their kills. When there's an actual versus where you're fighting each other with weapons and stuff, that mode sucks, as most people would think, you know, because you have that weird kind of you have to stop and aim and stuff that just doesn't work very good in multiplayer. But the griefing part's pretty fun. It's broken. It's cheesy as hell. People with magnums and bows have a huge advantage, but I heartily recommend this game, and it belongs, I think, in even if you're not particularly a Resident Evil fan, just picking this up and playing it will just be a blast. It's really fun. It's an ultimate bro dude game, and you should own it. And I think it's one of the games of the 360 generation.